Hi there, I'm Dr. Marty Urban. I'm a dentist here in Massachusetts. I'm a gigantic Macho Man collector. Randy has had a huge influence on my life. My friend Jordan wanted to come up and see the collection, so I gave him a little private tour today, and he's going to show everyone some of the cool stuff I've had in my collection for a number of years. It's been an honor to be the keeper of these, and I hope to share this with you all in his video.
Tell me about this though, before you cut out of here. What do you got right beside you, Marty?
WrestleMania 2, George Animal Steel. That's the Macho Man robe in that piece. Really cool match against George Animal Steel. I remember George Animal, he used to eat the turnbuckles up and it'd be feathers everywhere or whatever was in the turnbuckles. That was super cool. I like this piece. And you know what's really cool about these Macho robes? They're very heavy robes. So we later on, you're going to see that silver one and the other one from WrestleMania 4. These robes are super heavy. One of the things that I will tell you is, and I know this directly from Lanny, who was there, these robes were made by Rubies of Queens in Jamaica Plain. They were not actually made by Michael Braun. Michael Braun, I believe, did make a couple of them early on, but Rubies of Queens made the robes, and I will tell you, they are heavy and they are beautiful. So that's a really cool piece, one of my favorite pieces.
Now speaking of Michael Braun, you have a Michael Braun behind you. You said it's just covered in oil. What's the story with that?
So this is one of my favorite pieces. That's actually from the WCW days. That is a Michael Braun piece. And I have what's really cool that you know Michael yourself. And so I'm looking forward to meeting this introduction because I've had these pieces for a while. But the really cool thing about this piece is I've tried this on. It is loaded with baby oil. And there's so many stories about how Macho Man would wear baby oil, which he did. And Andre the Giant hated that. So Andre would not like to wrestle him in baby oil. He would say, no baby oil. And Randy would do it anyhow. So it caused a lot of real like heat. And Andre would really give him some good potatoes, as you call them, in wrestling. So that's a super cool piece. I tried that on years ago. It's been in a frame ever since. But it is just tons of baby oil on it.
I love this. He was saying it's an early Michael Braun piece, and I love that was when he was putting WWF still on there. The Michael Braun tassels, of course. Even has the pants. Sometimes people like to split the combo up, but that's cool. You have everything. So check this out. He has the Macho King crown. That's they don't really do that as much anymore, but that was Harley Race came in as the king, and then Haku, then Jim Duggan, and then Randy. And Michael Braun was saying, you know, he remembered when Randy came to him and said, they want to make me the Macho King. I'm going to need stuff that says King on it. And he was always wearing this. He was with Sensational Sherry. And Martin was telling me a funny story. He said that Jim Duggan's crown was actually too big for Randy. Randy had a smaller head, so they had to make the crown especially for Randy, which then gave them the chance to put Macho on there. And then look at this. Even signed by Randy. It's a real quality crown too. It's not like a cheap prop or anything. This thing's beautiful. Even let me wear it. Let me show you. It's absolutely unbelievable some of the stuff I get to do on this channel, I'm telling you. Now this one's crazy because I was just watching the A&E biography, and Gorgeous George was with Macho Man during that, and she's talking about the night that he wore this and how they were totally tripping when they were on there. And that's when Macho, you know, pardon my French, but that's when he said, I ain't no punk, bitch. Wow, that's crazy, Martin, that you have this one.
It's super cool.
And I ain't no punk. And then both of those.
Yeah, that's Slim Jim commercials or that piece.
Oh yeah, oh my gosh, that's a really recognizable one. Snap into it. There, he signed it for him. And that's kind of cool just to see. Randy had like a leather jacket and duster. There's some of the paperwork that Randy would send out when he would... Apparently the story, I didn't know this, the reason he was selling this stuff on eBay was he donated the money to the Children's Hospital, which was a really cool thing.
Randy was a huge supporter of the Special Olympics. Gigantic. So a lot of things, and I know Lanny did something recently as well. They really supported the Special Olympics. That meant a lot to them. So a lot of that stuff went to children's hospitals and the Special Olympics. This piece here was from later on in his career, like in the WCW days. You kind of see he went to like that kind of like darker darker style. So
when he got older, yeah.
When that flashy style went from that, like kind of that Spider-Man 2 era when he was in that movie. So, or actually, it was Spider-Man 1. It was
yeah, Bonesaw, right?
Bonesaw, yeah. But he kind of went to that darker style. You know, this is one of those pieces in the WCW days. So we kind of got in the whole collection, his early stuff, then stuff with featuring Baby Oil, all Michael Vaughn stuff, and then you have the later on the kind of the macabre stuff that, you know, kind of the Halloween kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I always say, the WCW, NWO kind of years. So this is super cool. I never in my life thought I would actually see this. I didn't even know if you were allowed to keep your jerseys, but this was one of the jerseys that when Randy, before he was a wrestler, he wanted to be a baseball player. He was utility infielder and catcher, and apparently Lanny had one of his Cardinals jerseys when Macho was in the minors. He was with the White Sox and the Reds and the Cardinals. I remember when he became a wrestler, the Reds used to have him come back and he would sit in the booth with Marty and Joe. So really cool to see one of Macho Man's actual baseball jerseys, because I've seen where he said when he basically couldn't play anymore that he gave up having any interest in baseball at all. Like he said, once baseball gave up on me, I gave up on baseball. So here's a photo of Randy when he was playing for the Cardinals. That's crazy. They were using jerseys from '67, even in '71. Oh, see, that was even 1971. So, and this is also a Macho Man jacket. You can see with all the French.
Tell, or if you look for Macho stuff, one of the telltale signs if you get a jacket, look at those little rings, like these little stars.
Yeah,
that's common on that stuff. So Jordan, we have another cool piece of Randy's here. This is an actual headband that he wore, pretty well known. It's framed nicely too. So he had beautiful headbands as well. This is my favorite headband of his. I've had this displayed up here for at least a decade now, up in this room, and it's a gorgeous piece that he wore. And again, a really nice example of a headband of Randy's. Beautiful gold design, and you'll recognize it in a lot of matches.
That's crazy. I've never seen the gray pair either. That's great. And he even signed him, Randy Savage, on there.
Those were in the silver. Those would have been used, Jordan. Those particular ones would have been used in '89 in likely with that robe at some point in '89. I forget what the match would have been with Zeus. Probably the Zeus match around that time.
Here's a great picture of Randy and Angelo is wearing Randy's glasses. He also has one of the awards that Angelo got.
I'm holding Angelo's Hall of Fame trophy right in my hand. This is actually what was given to Angelo. This was gifted to me by Lanny, and I've had this in the collection for a while. And I got a really cool Macho Man hat as well with the cool picture. Let me grab it out of the case right here. Really cool piece. I believe that was actually.
Wow,
you know what's
he's
really,
wearing that.
Yep. You know what's really cool too? That jacket in the picture is actually right hanging up there. So I've had that actual jacket is hanging over in the distance. So I actually just realized that because I've had this stuff for a while now. So Jordan, these are really cool. These are some of Randy's jewelry, some stuff that he wore in matches. So you'll recognize some pieces with these in them. This is like a chain that he wore, and one of those things that he wore, like he used to do those in promos back in the 80s, in the 90s.
Yeah.
So we have to actually find the clips with them and zoom in, but these were actually used in those things. These were passed on. And now they've been in my collection for a while, and they're safe and sound.
Now I have the hat to match the Macho Man shirt. Awesome.
Oh, this is cool. This is actual a turnbuckle from the WWF days. But speaking of the WWF days, you got a Randy Savage actually used this jacket. This was his actual used WWF jacket. Really beautiful signature, beautiful example. The whole thing signed. So this was gifted to me by Lanny. This will never leave the collection. Anything that was always gifted will always stay. But that's a really cool piece to have. And another cool piece of Randy's here too. This is part of the Macho King outfit. So these were actually part of that actual outfit as well. You can see it in the pictures. When you zoom in, you can actually see some of that stuff along with the crown and that other stuff in that stuff. So really cool.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Really cool just to have that. You use that in some of those promo pictures. Very neat to have. There's another Macho piece over here. Really cool. Some cool boots as well. Some old old Macho boots from back in the day.
That's NWO era.
Probably around that time frame, and a jacket as well from that time frame. Really cool.
So I thought a nice way to close it would be that Martin has a really cool picture of Randy in his later years marrying, which in a kind of an interesting way, the woman that he met when he was a baseball player, and before Liz and everything, Lynn, he ended up marrying Lynn, and that's one of their wedding photos on the beach. And then a really cool drawing that the genius, also known as Lanny Poffo, gifted to Martin.
Jordan, I just wanted to tell you, it was an honor to have you up here. I know you've texted me privately about coming up here. I don't open my house up to too many people to do this. Usually I just throw a private party, or have people that I work with, or that I'm good friends with, or some of the wrestlers themselves. They'll come up here and they stay when they have to do an event. But you know, I know this. I wanted to get this out there a little bit because you wanted to see it, and I'm hopeful that your fans and your followers will enjoy this video. It was an honor to have you up here to show you all this stuff. I hope it brought back some memories. And the reason why I don't collect for money. I don't collect for anything for value. I collect because I truly enjoy it. And my whole entire house is filled with wrestling memorabilia amongst other stuff. But I do it because I truly enjoy it. And I do it because, not for the value of it, not for any of those things, but because when you put on a robe, it brings you back to the 80s. This robe right here, for example, when I sleep next to it, every time I walk by it, I feel like I'm back in the 1980s when I was a little kid watching cable TV or whatever it was with my dad, and watching those pay-per-views that we had to actually pay for back then. I think back then it was like $29.99 for a pay-per-view, and you have to do a special order. Nowadays it's all different. They have the channel and everything like that, but this brings me back to that time in my childhood, and that's why I collect. So I collect for those feelings, and I hope that all the stuff you saw, that somebody, one of your fans saw something and be like, wow, holy shit, I remember that piece. So it was an honor doing this with you. I'm happy to open my home up for you to see all this stuff, and I'll see you next time.
This is a great picture of the family. It's Randy, Lanny, and Angelo accepting an award, and you know, I just thought this would probably be the best way to end it, because if there was ever anybody that, you know, belonged in to be remembered, it's Randy Savage. And for, you know, him to not go in the Hall of Fame while he was alive was sad, but it was really cool to see that Lanny was able to go and induct his brother. And I actually kind of feel like Angelo and everybody should be in there. That was kind of what they said Randy wanted, but I think this was a cool way to cap off Randy's career. He was a great guy and amazing wrestler to remember. So cool that we got to see his memorabilia today. We're going to call it a night. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you all next time. Have a great night.